Ecite Dominus, and welcome to question 140 of the secundae. The topic for this lecture is the precepts of fortitude, or are the precepts of fortitude. And I am Dr. Thibault. So we are in the very last question of the cardinal virtue of fortitude. And as St. Thomas always does, he ends them with the precepts. The laws of fortitude. Where is it dictated? Often it's the Ten Commandments. In this case, St. Thomas keeps it more generalized. So the two articles, the first one is fortitude part of the divine law? Is fortitude itself part of the divine law? And St. Thomas says the divine law contains precepts of fortitude, which is that men adhere to God's law. Right. So this is one should be strong, firmness of mind while doing God's law. Now, St. Thomas doesn't really point to any specific law that says be fortuitous, right, or show courage. He doesn't give that line specifically. He says, it was clearly part of the old law. It's clearly also now part of the new law. If the new law is about grace and the Spirit and living a good and virtuous life, a good life of holiness, then to live a good, pleasing life to God requires fortitude to do it. Right? A person can't be virtuous and then as soon as something difficult comes about, gives up. Well, then if that's what you do, then you weren't particularly virtuous, right? A virtuous person isn't just virtuous when it's easy. A virtuous person is virtuous, particularly when it gets hard, right? That's kind of the nature of it. So it's not a particular commandment or anything. It's just built into living virtuously. It's necessary. It's a necessary element of following human and divine law is fortitude. So it'd be nice to say more than that, but that's really all St. Thomas says. I should be careful when I say that because that's all what St. Thomas says. He says a lot. I'm sure you could unpack it a bit more, but I think that's the nature of it. The second article is are the parts of fortitude also part of the divine law? Now, what are the parts of fortitude? Well, we had magnificence, and we had magnanimity, we had patience, we had perseverance. So those were those potential parts of fortitude. So are those parts part of the divine law? Well, St. Thomas says man needs not only the principal virtue, which is fortitude, but the secondary and annex virtues as well. So he's saying, yes, you need fortitude, and then you need the potential parts of fortitude. Now, why what is this potential parts of fortitude? Remember, potential parts means, like if you think of having a natural ginger ale with real ginger in it, it's potent, right? Compared to if you just drink the corn syrup sugary kind. Right? If you're used to the sugary kind, and then you drink the natural kind, you go, wow, that's potent, strong, right? That's what the potential parts of virtue are. They're what gives it strength. If fortitude existed, but without magnificence and magnanimity and patience and perseverance, it might be impossible to do fortitude well. Fortitude that doesn't have patience and perseverance and magnanimity, it might not be fortitude anymore. They're really strengthening virtues. They're not the same thing, right? Neither one of them, none of them are on their own the same as fortitude. Fortitude without them would be a very weakened form of fortitude. So they're necessary. So St. Thomas points out that you need magnificence and magnanimity for the perfection of virtue. Right? This is aiming at a quiet corner of heaven. It's aiming at the fullness of life. Right? Christ says, "I came to give you life and give it to you in fullness." Virtue ethics is about human flourishing. It's living big, right? This is really an image of St. Thomas, is to live the big life, right? Not the flashy life, but the great adventure of the Christian call. It comes with, Mother Teresa and Teresa of Avila, these great saints, people who dream bigger. They could have just ate candy and relaxed on a hot summer's day and mind their own business. But, they dreamed something bigger, right? And that dream was in the mind of God, right? Their vocation. Um, and then, secondly, the second class would be perseverance and patience, which is necessary to overcome everyday hardship. So, it's great to dream big, but you also need to just get through the day-to-day challenges to get there, right? How do you achieve something big? It's little steps every day. So you need both, the stuff that goes every day and the stuff that has the big picture in mind. So uh, all of the parts are necessary for fortitude. So in conclusion, which is the conclusion of fortitude, fortitude is prescribed in divine law, although less so specifically. And the secondary virtues of fortitude are also described in divine law as necessary for fulfilling the other virtues. And that's all we have. And next we will move on to temperance.